Кибербезопасность и креативное мышление. Казалось бы, ну,
Cybersecurity and creative thinking. What is in common? Cybersecurity is hardcore guys who are writing code behind the computer. And creative guys are guys who are poets, write poetry, artworks, pictures, and it's a totally different world. But right now we're going to speak about how these worlds are compatible. Together with Vladimir Kuchakov, the head of the Department of the Research and Development Analyzer of the Code in Positive. Hello.
креативным партнером
And Jan Hachitur, creative partner of Positive. Hello, Jan. And Evgeny Brovkin, creative director of Positive Technologies, who is online with us. Hello, Zhenya.
Ой, какая у тебя
Hello, guys.
картинка сзади справа.
Well, you have a beautiful pictures behind your back.
Рисовал, да?
You made it. Yes, I made it. It just happened like that.
Смотри,
Boba, look here.
удивительное сочетание вещей.
You have a surprising combination of things. On one side, you're writing code. You are a developer of products. On the other side, as I know, you're an artist. You love gaming, and you're involved also in investigation of human capabilities of human brain. Jan, you are professional dancer. You are a poet. At the same time, somehow you came into cybersecurity. Zhenya has been creating big events like Positive Hug Days. No more than that. Nothing bigger than that. It's big enough. But you was creating big events. You film movies, and you started by participating in KVN, the Club of Happy and Smart. Okay, let's speak. How can you combine all those things within yourself? Zhenya, you have a privilege. You are remote. Let's begin with you. First of all, I would like to say it's too sad that I'm not located here, because I receive a lot of videos and I see how and what is happening here. It's too sad that I wasn't able to fly. Second thing, I would like to say hi to my design and creativeness department. Big guys, good guys, you did a great job and you did everything great. And number three, what is the question, please? How are you able to combine cybersecurity and these fun stuff, films, events, and all this creative stuff which happens with your head? How does it work together? Well, this is a story that you are growing together with yourself, depending from, well, you're stepping over some small steps from the creativeness point of view. Then these objectives you bring to automatism and you come to the next level. And as for the cybersecurity, you looks like you have reached the top level, the boss, which has a lot of quests, and you like guessing them, working them. You like to work on those challenges which previously were not understandable by you. And in addition to that, because right now cybersecurity is number one story which is mentioned in our country, I think that close attention is paid to this topic. So right now it happens that projects become more and more complicated, more and more interesting, and it becomes a big quest to popularize them. And because of this, you just again gain some experience and you are moving forward. Something like that. That's how I think.
Зато результат хороший, Жень. Красоты-то он сколько.
But the result is beautiful, a lot of beauty. Yesterday there was a presentation for investors and everybody said it was beautiful. It was really beautiful. Yeah, you see, a lot of different objectives. You have community which needs information. On the other side, you have investors. On the third side, you have regular people, and all this together, it's a big mix of people. It's super interesting, guys. Those of you who is looking for interesting, that's very cool. Thank you. From dance to cybersecurity, how did it happen? You know, Vladimir, the first thing that comes to my mind is a quote from the movie Legend of the Autumn with Brad Pitt and Anthony Hopkins. In the beginning, they said that there are people who hear a certain call inside of themselves. Some of them become crazy and some become legends. So that's what happened, that I'm really involved person.
И для меня мир, конечно,
And to me, the world is absolutely beautiful place. So
на эту тему.
we've been speaking about it with Vladimir about abstractions and that abstract model of world perception. It's a model which is done by a human being, and every beginning, every start, every creative component and any creativity is a certain level of abstraction which person can feel and try to prove it and materialize it in reality. Of course, dance, poetry, writing, copywriting, everything that happens in cybersecurity, everything that happens in our company, it's crazy interesting, which allows me to materialize myself from different sides and add to each other and combine each other.
Разработки
Wow.
продукта.
With the development of the product, how is it important to get outside of the borders of traditional way of thinking,
Во всем этом
and which role is played by your creative skills that you have?
разделить разработку продукта на
Well, I should divide product development into two parallel fields, development and research.
идет уже
Where we already have certain development, certain production. The code has been written and developed. The one that's going to go to release and will go to the clients. Their creativity doesn't have a lot of space because it's well known what are we writing, how should we write it. We need to follow the quality, and they don't really welcome movements in a direction to the left, to the right, because as a rule, it is done by the team, and the code which is written by the team should equally be understood by all the team members. If a person will start self-expressing through the code, well, it is possible to be done, even though it sounds very strangely, but it is realistic. But other people will not perceive this code as good as if it was written according to certain commonly accepted standards and rules. Also for algorithmic decisions, everything which is under development. But prior to development stage, there is a research stage. It happens in parallel, but still it's a separate stage. And on this stage, the less rules are going to be applied for the engineer who is trying to solve certain objective. The better and simpler it's going to be for him to find a solution. And I have a fear, sometimes a small phobia, which is related with development. I'm afraid that even my managers will learn how often I make decisions intuitively, because they will not like these statistics, because it doesn't happen once.
позитив.
Right now, for example, in positive application inspector, we are replacing all analysis modules by the common core with the common code base, which has been created in an interesting way. About 4 years ago, together with our colleague Rami Molis, and we've been communicating with him. He says, Vova, is it right that you have decided to make JavaScript analyzer? I said, yes, we're making it. And aren't you afraid that you will break your career on this? Because JavaScript analyzer, stat analyzer is a very complicated thing due to communication of this language. I say, oh my God, I don't know, maybe I can break it.
Сомнения
But I had a certain doubt in my head, and then I was sitting and thinking, yes, the logic tells me I shouldn't do this. We could say no to this objective. We shouldn't do it. It's very complicated. It's very cumbersome. It will have a lot of problems, dozens of problems immediately. I could see what we're going to face. But inside of me, something told me, we have to do it. We have to do it. Try it. And it was the longest development that we have done in the model of analysis. But right now, all PT application inspector moves to this model. It works much faster. It gives more precision of results. And finally, thanks to this module, we could give comfortable answers to WDE producers, because my guys were charged with this enthusiasm and a pure intuition. We've been continuously moving blindly, finding approaches and finding optimal approaches. And we've been less engineers and more creators.
какие-то художники. Ребят, можете рассказать про
Well, guys, can you tell me please about your non-standard discoveries which
влияли на
have influenced your work?
сложный вопрос?
It is a very complicated question. No, it's not a secret from you. Nobody will give up their own secrets. Yes, we have discovered them, but
История о том, что ты по утрам
well, the story that every morning you take bath with watermelons. Is that true?
Что это останется между нами.
We have agreed that this will stay between us. Well, thank you very much for telling this to everyone. But well, I can tell you one thing from myself, perhaps
людям, которые
as a recommendation to people
начинают свой путь в
who start their way in creativity and want to continue it. A great number of watching. You have to watch a lot of things because our brain tries to make examples. In the childhood, you remember, they ask you how much 2 plus 2, you say 5 because you forgot. They say think again, but you don't think, you just remember options. In creativity, same thing. The more information you digest, the more results you will give out at a certain moment of time, and will compile it in a non-standard way. So the more examples and variants you have in your head, the more options you will provide, the more interesting will be your solutions. In other words, that's why someday the artificial intelligence will make humans
вот.
to shake, will make us shake.
Так закончил опять.
А вот
типа,
это вот,
всё.
It's interesting ending, but it's an interesting thesis, a challenge into Vova Kuchakov. Artificial intelligence will make us shake. Okay, let's speak about it. Vova, what your creative thinking is bringing you to, especially when you think about it. Okay, thinking about some life hacks, and I remember just two, and I can share them with you. In principle, well, this is not something related with watermelons. Artists, why do I want to share this with you? It's from the artwork. I brought it to my workplace. Artists, they have a problem of a blank page. When he has a blank page, he doesn't know how to start his artwork. It's like procrastination in the office. That's how it is being called. Artists call it like that. You just take the pencil and make some curve. But this curve should be dynamic, nice, not just a straight line. And then from this little curve, you start making your work. And this works magically on the artist. As soon as you have a certain curve on your blank page, you try to improve it continuously, and you continuously improving it, make it better, better, better. And then you look different, and the creative process is moving differently. I work with a programming code differently. I write something stupid just to make it and compile it. Something, and I call the method. I say that you need to analyze JavaScript code like that. And then, well, you need to analyze JavaScript code. Well, this function will be divided. We have to parse code. We have to build a model. We have this. Well, I have 3 methods. And then I start dividing. I start building around it the common functionality. And then architecture becomes like that. Very often it's being changed. But it helps me to begin thinking in this direction. And the second life hack, well, I forgot about the second one while I've been speaking about the first one. But how can you give me the comment about artificial intelligence? This is your topic. This is my topic out of 3 of us. Well, you have to understand that artificial intelligence right now becomes more and more powerful. However, on the level of mathematics, there is no confidence that human brain works as we think it works. Because things that we do in the area of artificial intelligence, we just do the same thing that happens in the heads of people. Because there's a mass of bright theories from well-known physicists like Roger Penrose, who assumed that between neurons, in addition to electromagnetic communications, there are quantum relations. Well, this hypothesis is not against anything that is available in physics. And if this will be truthful, there will be so many consequences that our AI is not intellect compared to this. And second of all, due to the quantum bending, it might happen that human thinking is connected with each other. The quantum connection. And you can fantasize a lot about it. You can think about anything, but this is too far away. And there is no possibility to check these hypothesis of this quantum entanglement in the brain. But as for the artificial intelligence, there's nothing to compare it with. We don't know how our intellect works, where it comes from, and why mathematically it is impossible to prove any free theorem. You take any free theorem, and there is no algorithm following which you will prove it. But they do prove theorems. Somehow they do it. Somehow they prove it, not algorithmically, because people have proven that they've done it this way. But how? It's not understandable. well.
Можно рассмотреть с того, будет
And this question can be looked from the point of view as how the person will analyze the work of the artificial intelligence, whether the person will perceive the AI together with living authors. And as for me,
у меня вот есть
because I write, I have two assumptions.
говорим
If we speak about some simple content with some simple forms, like articles or some popular books,
алгоритмизацию можно на
some algorithmization can be found there. But if we're going to speak about artificial intelligence that will transfer some subjective experience built on some abstractions, some Dostoevsky or
каких-то своих проблем, или что Лас проявлял.
well, Lassam Tree has been expressing something. Well, this is under big question mark. To create some algorithm when the text will be perceived by a human
С искусственным
on the same line with artificial intelligence is possible, but some archy art pieces with human loyalty, I don't know.
Созданное искусственным интеллектом будет
Maybe something that was created by artificial intelligence will be based on something that already was done by humans. Because this will be some learning, machine learning, through which AI went through the existing experience, but not something principal in you. Well, I wanted to support you because it's going to be expressed everywhere. Yes, in literature, non-standard solutions are not really applicable, but in music,
альбомы, их можно
there are full albums which you can find on music platforms
допустим, хита, и
where the system of the hit has been studied, and there's an album which consists of the pieces by artificial intelligence, and it's like you're listening it like to real music, some light cool music which plays in the background in your ears, and you don't understand that it was written by humans.
песен,
And you don't understand that it's a sample that was cut of different songs, sounds as a harmony. As for the creative art,
Лебедева,
like Artemy Lebedev Studio, they have a
проект, который генерирует.
neural project
То есть здесь,
which generates logos.
как мне кажется, то есть во что-то впоследствии
So as I think, this will be reborn. Well, some part of creative industry will stop existing.
Да. Он что-то сейчас хотел сказать очень запрещенное и очень секретное, и поэтому искусственный интеллект его заблокировал.
Запретили
Женя,
креатив.
Женя, не выдавай тайны искусственного интеллекта, он почувствовал угрозу в твоем лице. Пока Женя к нам подключается, давайте рассмотрим вопрос, как использовать наш мозг и нашу сенсорику. Ну, человек все-таки это многогранное существо с своими сенсорами, чувствами и интеллектуальными данными и мозгом. Как их использовать для создания чего-то принципиально нового? Ну, давай с тебя, Вов, начнем.
Знать бы как.
Это хороший ответ.
Ну, я не знаю, тут, наверное, за всех говорить было бы неправильно, но лично вот по моему опыту очень часто что-то принципиально новое возникало, когда этого совершенно не хотелось. То есть оно случайно появлялось. Я любил много раз там повторять фразу одну, что самые лучшие инженерные решения получаются тогда, когда ты пытался кого-то скопировать, но до конца не разобрался, как оно работает. И получилось что-то свое, совершенно новое. И у нас так тоже было в нашем проекте, и в наших продуктах. Поэтому, если бы существовал алгоритм, вот я хочу сделать что-то новое, чтобы все ахнули там, и это, ну тогда уже, наверное, мы совсем по-другому работали и мыслили. Тут как бы, ну, есть понятие, если переходить из инженерии, да, обратно в рисование, там, в литературу, есть понятие творческий поиск. Вот это же то же самое, по большому счету. То есть человек ищет там свой стиль, свою технику, способ самовыражения. Потому что когда художник рисует картину, он же самовыражается не изображением.
Да.
Он изображается динамикой линии, там, воздушной перспективой, композицией, как это все скомпоновано, куда приходит взгляд человека, когда он смотрит на эту картину. Вот через это художник пытается себя самовыразить. И, как правило, им-то проще, потому что что-то новое у них получается просто, когда они как бы про себя рассказывают миру. С инженерной точки зрения здесь, конечно, немного сложнее, потому что более формальная область, со всех сторон математика, которая как-то ограничивает, и далеко не за пределы не любой границы математики мы можем выйти. Ну, как бы это законы природы, тут уж ничего не поделаешь. Поэтому, ну, методом перебора создается что-то новое, наверное, так.
Ян, как создать что-то новое?
Ам,
Принципиально.
Слушай, ну, я, если честно, думаю, что это очень сильно зависит от того, что человек хочет. Потому что мы так, если рассмотреть, у нас есть какие-то бессознательные механизмы, которые происходят. Есть какие-то поведенческие механизмы. Есть все равно социум, в котором мы тоже взаимодействуем в определенных механизмах. И это определенный замкнутый круг из привычек. И плюс еще, мы еще живем сейчас, если цивилизованное общество, мы живем в том обществе, которое каждому этому виду взаимодействия дает место. Это очень удобно и это очень комфортно. И я, в принципе, считаю, что чтобы что-то развивать и чтобы двигаться куда-то нестандартным путем, вот это то, что я уже говорил, что должен быть какой-то внутренний романтизм, что мир прекрасен, но может быть чуточку лучше, и мне хочется это показать, мне хочется это сделать и воплотить, но этого еще пока нет. Мне кажется, что именно вот это вот ощущение и внутреннее чувство, оно и дает возможность поиска, искать какие-то новые пути, потому что их нет, а очень хочется. И я, конечно, очень сильно топлю за то, что у человека должно быть какое-то большое, сильное, такое красивое, в хорошем смысле слова, желание. Как так?
Позитив — это люди. Это прежде всего люди. И люди очень разные. Есть прагматичные, есть сухие, есть творческие, есть интеллектуальные, есть креативные. Это разные люди. Но вместе мы создаем то, что вы все эти дни видите вокруг. Это наши продукты, это наш О2, это наш Positive Hack Days, это наша кибербитва стендов. И если бы мы не мыслили категориями, как выйти за пределы возможного, как выйти за пределы того, что уже придумано, мы бы точно этого не добились. У нас есть те условия, которые позволяют раскрыться совершенно разным людям. Приходите в позитив. Ребят, спасибо вам большое за интересный и творческий разговор.
Спасибо, Боб.
Спасибо.